The topic of my presentation is Colonized Microblogsphere, verification systems impact on online opinion leadership in Sina Weibo. It's not the latest version of PPT. Anyway, so social media has been intensively studied recently, especially after the Arabic Spring and Occupy Wall Street movement. And it was considered as a democratic media for its ability to promote counter discourses and empower suppressed groups and facilitate the social movements. But also some other scholars think it also works as a means of reproducing existing social system and to enable the government to better control the society. So in this respect, we found the verification system of Sina Weibo very interesting because it publicly recognized the social hierarchy of the offline reality and tries to reproduce it in the cyberspace. So in this study, I try to examine how they do this and how they reproduce the offline opinion leadership to the cyberspace. So verification system is like the information of the users, like the ID numbers and the cell phone numbers and their job titles. They submit this information to the Sina, and once verified, they will have a V beside their name. And so people know they are important people. They are VIP users. And the framework of my study is opinion leadership theory. And I'm not going to review it because the presenters from Carter Center yesterday already talked some about that. And one thing I want to emphasize is the transformation from the offline opinion leadership to the online. It's like the social capital transformation. And Mavic last year conducted a study about how real celebrity works in the microblogsphere. And he found that the similar conclusion as my study found. So in this study, I just tried to test whether verification status will moderate the impact of other predictors, such as geographic locations and update frequency. In this case, it's the number of posts of the users on their Weibo influence. So I have two hypotheses. The first one is trying to test the interaction effect between the verification status and the user's geographic locations on their impact on the number of followers. And the second one is trying to test the interaction effect between the verification status and the number of posts on their number of followers. The method I'm using is the secondary data analysis. And I need to thank a person. Oh, I just tried to find him, but it's Professor Fu from Hong Kong U, because I used the data from their center. And I got this data from their website, and they are very nice to share this with the public and the academia. So it's a data set with all the verified users, all the 65,000 Weibo users with more than 1,000 followers, including their names, geographic locations, and number of followers, and number of friends, number of posts, and the verification status. And this data was retrieved on June last year, so it's not the latest. And based on this data set, and I did factorial two-way ANOVA test. So for the measures, we can measure. We say that for the criteria variable, that's opinion, online opinion leadership here, or we call E-influence or micro-influence. So we just use one item, that's the number of followers, to test this. And for the two independent variables, that's the geographic location, the user type, we recoded our original data. Like for the geographic location, we divided it into information-rich area and information non-rich area, and special Okay, 5 minutes. That's enough. So information-rich area includes Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, and all the other places of mainland China is information non-rich area. But Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau are categorized as special administrative area. And the last category is the overseas users, and of course the others who didn't specify their locations. And for the user type, we just categorize them into 4 types according to the number of posts. And they are non-active users who have less than 1,000 posts, and normally active users, and the highly active users, and extremely active users. So for the verification status, we just say they are verified or non-verified. And we can see that about 67% of the users with more than 1,000 followers are verified, and only 33 are non-verified. And a t-test shows the difference are very significant, and we can see that actually. So the factorial two-way ANOVA supported both hypotheses. This mean plot is more visually friendly, and I need to go here. Okay. So the dashed line represents the verified users, and the solid line represents the non-verified users. And from left to the right is the information-rich area, and Hong Kong, Taiwan, Macau, this is the overseas, and this information non-rich area. And that's the number of followers. So from this mean plot, we can see the number of followers varies across different locations. And this trend is more obvious for the verified users than non-verified users. So that's basically what hypothesis 1 won the test. And one more interesting thing we can find is the highest points. That's the verified users from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau. They have far more followers than all other users. And one possible explanation for that is the Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan has worked as the culture and the economic center in the Greater China area for many years, and they have contributed a lot of entertainment stars, like movie stars like Jackie Chan, the singers like Wang Lihong, and TV hosts like Cai Kangyong, who are very influential in the Weibo landscape. And for the hypothesis 2, that's the interaction effect between verification status and the user type. User type means the number of posts and the update frequency. And we can see basically there is a positive relationship between the number of posts and the number of followers. It's the more you post and the more followers you will get. And this trend is especially obvious for the verified users. And the interesting thing here is the extremely active users, because for the non-verified users, they are not significantly different from the highly active users. It seems like they are significant, but they are not statistically different. But the extremely active verified users, they have very higher influence in the Weibo landscape. And a possible explanation for that is this group of people have more institutional accounts than the individual accounts. Because the institutional accounts means the accounts managed by professional teams. They post pictures, videos, or jokes, or duans every day, and then they post a lot of them and attract a large number of followers. So the concluding remarks, the the verification status is a valid moderating factor for predicting geographic location and update frequencies impact on Weibo influence. So it means the offline opinion leaders did benefit from the verification system and gain their influence in the Weibo. And this study also identifies two groups of influential users that we can work on in the future studies. One group is the verified users from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau. They're extremely active and influential. And the other group is the extremely active verified users or the institutional accounts that we can furtherly work on. So that's basically the end of my presentation. Thanks.